Manchester United are set to sign Amad Diallo to a new rewarding contract. Adam Wharton could be heading to Manchester City in January, and Mohamed Salah has talked again about signing a new contract at Liverpool. All of that and much more in today's Football Fix. If you enjoy the video, subscribe for more. Today we start with that Adam Wharton news. Multiple clubs have been linked with him in terms of a transfer that could happen in January or the summer. However, the biggest club right now that are linked with him are Manchester City, looking at him as a backup option to the injured Rodri, which is a massive priority for the club in the January window. Barcelona are open to selling Frenkie de Jong in January or in the summer window this year. Frenkie has sort of lost his place a little bit. He's been picking up some more injuries, and with some incredible youngsters coming through La Masia, as they always do, it may be that Frenkie de Jong's time at Barcelona is finally going to be up. Manchester United were previously linked for a huge fee as Erik ten Hag was trying to get hold of de Jong, but now there are reports coming out that Barcelona would be open to selling him for as little as £20 million, which is a massive cut price on what he was previously being touted at. This is most likely due to, again, the age, the injuries, as well as not necessarily needing to keep hold of him as much, and the fact that they want to get his wages off of the book because he's on a crazy amount. Kenan Yildiz is another name that is being linked with many clubs around Europe. You may have heard some rumblings and rumours in the summer as to what was going to happen to him, and potentially Premier League links, of course Manchester United within there, because they're linked with everybody in the world. But the news coming out now is that Man United are actually properly reported to be admiring the player and are looking at making a deal. It doesn't seem likely that this is going to be available in January, but more so a summer transfer. Multiple West Ham United players are being put available for transfer from the club. In the summer, West Ham had what appeared to be a fantastic transfer window, but they didn't quite get rid of all of the deadwood and players that just aren't quite in the fold as much as they would have liked to. And so in January, a few players are supposedly available for transfer. This is coming from The Athletic, and it is saying that Ward-Prowse is available, Kurt Zuma, a Gerd, which is actually quite surprising because he came in and was looking really good for a while, but now with Kilman and Mavropanos, he has fallen down the pecking order, and Maxwell Cornet, who it just never quite happened for him at West Ham, unfortunately. Amad Diallo has been fantastic ever since Erik ten Hag has left Manchester United. He was actually quite good when he actually got some game time for ten Hag and for some reason was not rewarded with more minutes. However, because of how good he has been recently, he is set for new contract talks with Manchester United. His first impressions under Ruben Amorim have been incredibly positive. He is getting goal involvements and he is looking like a player that can be developed and moulded into a potential superstar. He has finally got another chance at Man United. He was fantastic on loan at Sunderland previously, and now we might be seeing Diallo finally lock down that position in the squad as a right mid / right wing back in this Amorim system, which will therefore result in a quite healthy contract for him. The Mohamed Salah contract situation is still ongoing, and the talks themselves are also ongoing regarding this contract renewal. He previously had that interview in the post-match that we did a video on where he was pretty much saying that he loves the club, the fans love him, he loves the fans, and he would love to stay. But he had not had an offer on the table. He has now been even more open about this situation, where it feels like he just wants to stay, but they need to offer him what he wants. A lot of rumours were coming out that he was potentially wanting a 3-year contract, but he has now said he's willing to accept a 1-year contract. So Liverpool, give him the money. Matthias Tell could be set to be loaned out from Bayern Munich in January. Young, phenomenal player that has impressed in the minutes that he has had and looks like an up-and-coming absolute monster. Bayern Munich do have a few of these, but they are trying to develop some of them by loaning them out. And the biggest of the biggest and best, like Musiala, are taking that limelight and staying at the club, whereas they are trying to move a few out of the way so that they can still keep hold of them for the future because they are so good, but just not quite at the level that Vincent Kompany thinks is good enough for the club. So we've got RB Leipzig, Werder Bremen and Villarreal all linked with a potential January loan move for Matthias Tell. Julien Lopetegui is in big trouble at West Ham. He lost against Leicester City and Ruud Van Nistelrooy's Mighty Foxes last night, and it is apparently the end of his reign at West Ham. They are trying to line up replacements as we speak. Lopetegui has had a terrible time at West Ham, and the fans have not taken a liking to him, and now Graham Potter is supposedly the main priority target for West Ham, and if not, it could be the third time David Moyes manages the club. Xavi Simons! PSG are open to selling the Dutchman in the summer transfer window. He is a player that just hasn't actually really seen much of PSG. He's been loaned out multiple times, and the surprising part is that they would actually be open to letting him go considering how good he has been on these loans. He has smashed it at Leipzig, and so we now have big Premier League interest. Arsenal and Liverpool are both heavily linked with Xavi Simons. However, it would be a very expensive transfer. We're looking at £66 million as his transfer fee in the summer. Would either of those clubs like to spend that amount of money? We'll have to wait and see. It feels like if he goes to Arsenal, he'll be utilised more in a winger role, whereas at Liverpool, he could be in that Szoboszlai 10 kind of position. He is very versatile, he's very good. This would be an exciting transfer. We've heard about Evan Ferguson before. He has been linked with a load of clubs, and due to his injury record in the past couple of seasons, his value that was potentially going to be 100 million plus has seemingly completely dissipated, and now Brighton are looking at loaning him out in the January window because they don't necessarily need him, but they want to keep developing him as a player. They have seen big success with other loanees, especially this season with Buonanotte at Leicester. Some of their younger players, they are getting a lot out of. Nottingham Forest are the newest club that are linked to be loaning him in January, with other Premier League clubs and many others around Europe also showing an interest in Evan Ferguson. So, where do you think he's going to end up? That is going to call it for today's video. Back to normal uploading schedule. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow.